Welcome to the iHemp Hour. My name is Dave Craybill. I'm with iHemp Michigan. iHemp Michigan's mission is to educate, inform, and promote the research, development, and cultivation of industrial hemp. iHemp Michigan advocates for wellness in people and the planet, and it begins with the farmer. And as usual, we are beginning with the non-farmer in the group. Mike Brennan from the great city of Ann Arbor. How's it going, Mike?
Doing great, Dave. Thanks for asking. Except the weather really changed a lot in the last day. Other than that, we're good.
I wish we had this weather when we went to the football game a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was very, very hot.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us. Good to see you. And Blaine Bechtold.
Yeah. Hey, happy first day of autumn, everybody. It's here, whether we wanted it or not. It's marched right along, and it's autumn, so we know that. Everybody's out doing a lot of harvesting of their hemp. And we know that the state is out busy doing their testing. And Mike, I'll say this very once, and congratulations to Michigan, how they're doing in football so far. So,
Well, of course, the competition hasn't been exactly top notch, but we'll find out on Saturday. They're playing Maryland, and then the schedule will get a lot tougher. But
yeah, it does as it goes through the season. Yep, it does. But enjoy the run while it's going, man.
That's it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So it's my pleasure to introduce Eric and Dennis Dean. They're with Lakeland Hemp up in the little north of Traverse City. So are the colors changing for you guys up there yet, or not quite yet, guys?
A little bit. We got a few leaves on the ground there and a few trees you can see on the side of the road that are turning. Beautiful color tour around here this time of year for sure.
Yes, and we really enjoyed. We came up there and toured your facility last year. It was very nice at that time too. So with the harvest coming in, everybody get a chance. You can get a hold of Dennis and Eric. Maybe you can stop by and see the facility and sample some of their great product they got. But Lakeland Hemp is producing high quality CBD flower at scale and developed a process for bucking and drying to preserve the cannabinoids and the terpenes. And they're going to talk about that today and share a little bit of their inside secrets. And hey, got to give you guys a little shout out too for your Hempy Award winning that you got.
That's right. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So they won first place for product innovation with their bucking machine, which is what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So, guys, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, your harvest schedule, because you not only do you have hemp, you also have fruit that you're working on at the same time. So
yeah, well, we've got our cherries is our big our big crop. So we're done with that one. So we have a few trees of the apples and pears and plums and peaches, but so far that's they're prolific and we've got lots of fruit flies around. But our harvest for the fruit is done. So now it's now the harvest time for the hemp.
Do you can some of your fruit?
Yeah, we usually freeze. We freeze some of our fruit. We make juices out of it. We've got some nice lines of juices. We may have to go commercial with some of our juices here.
Cherry juices.
We keep practicing on trying to get the right combination to get a good market for the juice line here. But yeah.
Oh, I'm volunteering to be a guinea pig for that. Have you thought about doing CBD infused juices?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
That would be the direction we're going to go.
We'll have both varieties, those that have just plain and those that have a little CBD infused products as well.
Mm-hmm. We might want to stop right there and just talk about how CBD is not going to get you high, because we were talking about that before the show started, and there's still all that confusion about what is hemp, what is cannabis, what's the difference. So you might mention that just so people know. Right? So,
yeah, it's interesting. I was talking about the fact that you see there's we do some farmers market and we have our lotions and tinctures and salves and the big advertisement in front. And we still get a lot of side eyes, people going by and commenting about making it, how do they ever make that stuff legal and the whole ball of wax. And there's still quite a few people that really don't understand that there's no we are classified as marijuana if we have more than 0.3% THC. Right. So it's and I think good marijuana has got to be 25% now, Mike?
It ranges between 20 and 30%. You get above 30%, then you go into a whole different place. But I mean, typically when you see it on the market, it's in the 20 to 25 range, percent.
Yeah. So you'd have to consume a lot of, even at the 0.3%, you'd consume a lot of hemp to get the same as you would get from a.
Yeah, Rand Paul down in Kentucky said you'd have to smoke a joint the size of a telephone pole of hemp in order to get high, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good analogy or metaphor. So
yeah, it makes for a good education for the people that are open-minded. It's kind of nice to talk about what the difference is, and what the it's there's a lot of people who walk away with a whole different opinion and do some research and come back the next week and buy some products. So it's a good opportunity, really.
Right.
Dennis and Eric, selling CBD products, this is one of those fine lines you have to walk, but tell us some of your experiences, some of the feedback, why are people using CBD?
Well, we thought that market is really a great spot for doing it, because we have people that come through and we have some samples of the lotion, and we'll even have them, they got maybe pain or little arthritis pain maybe in their hand or some kind of muscle pain, and we let them take samples, and they said, okay, if it works, I'll put some on, rub it in, and then I'm going to be around the market here for another 15-20 minutes, and if it works, I'll come back and buy it. It's amazing how many people come. I was feeling better already. They'll rub it on their lower back or something. They'll come back and, wow, that stuff really works. Come back and say, oh, see, there we go. So you'll get market that way. And there's a lot of people that swear by it, that actually some of the vendors that are in there are constantly coming back and buying the product because they're, they've got aches and pains, and it seems to work for them. They get, that the anti-inflammatory, and they have anxiety relief and all kinds of, we've got a lot of people even when are buying product that send us these glorious reviews about how it's changed their lives by using the product. So it's unique. There's they still haven't done a lot of research on it because it's still so new, but there's certainly a lot of anecdotal evidence that says it is very beneficial.
Yeah, that's the big hang up from the medical community, since there hasn't been that official research. The doctors are leery about recommending it because they're worried about malpractice and things like that. And I think that a lot of folks are working on that research now, so it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And another thing that it really helps with is sleep. I mean, I can't speak to you guys, but I'm older now, and it's like I wake up or I have a hard time getting to sleep because I'm working late. And if you take the CBD, it really helps me kind of relax and sleep better. So
yeah, I think matter of fact, we have a new
CBD with the CBN.
Yeah, we've got a new product line coming out probably within the next month that has some combinations real high, a big 35 milligram in our tinctures, and one of them is a combination of 2,500 CBD and 1,000 CBG, and another one is a combination of 3,000 I think and 500 CBN for sleep. So we have some. We sampled the product, and it is, I mean, you talk about sleep, you better be ready to hit the sack in an hour.
I'll be one of your guinea pigs on that.
Exactly. Yeah, because it does.
It definitely works.
It works for sure.
Speaking of which, I see, not to interrupt, but I see scrolling along the bottom there. I'll give you a chance to do your shameless plug there. You've got a discount running right now, right?
Yeah, we're just talking about the first day of fall here. We do have an end of summer discount. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you put that code in, you get a 10% discount on any product that you buy out of our website, which is at lakelandhemp.com. So yeah, we're getting the new harvest is coming in, so we're celebrating the new harvest and giving a little promotional code there. So if you take that promotional code onto our website, you can get 10% off of any of the products you buy.
Awesome. So I know you're talking about the night. It's the CBN. I take that every night for sleep, and it's a big difference.
Yeah, it definitely works. It definitely works.
Yeah, it certainly does that. Yeah. So, hey, a lot of people like to hear about kind of how people get involved with CBD and everything. So, how did you guys? What prompted you to get involved with growing hemp?
Well, I got like a cannabis background from Alaska, so I moved to Michigan 4 years ago. And I have been in cannabis basically since about 2006. So in Alaska, kind of caretaker, our version of the medical market. So when we've had a field open for years where nothing was growing in it, and they just started legalizing hemp in the United States. And I was telling my dad, I had some buddies that had moved to Oregon and Colorado and started to grow it. And I was like, we need to get into this. Well, Michigan hadn't made it legal yet, so we were waiting on the sidelines until it became legal. And when it did, we jumped in head first.
Mm-hmm. Fortunately, we didn't drown.
Yeah.
Close, really close.
How many acres are you growing up there?
About 4, probably.
Yeah, we've cut our acreage down and focused on a higher end flower output. Basically, I'm really excited about some of the new strains this year, and I enjoy like the higher end and the connoisseur type cannabis is what I enjoy doing.
About 1,500 plants per acre, so we're in that ballpark.
Yeah,
We're at
probably
7,000 plants this year. So
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, pretty.
We're on
close.
three
I think
foot.
we're almost 2,000 an acre. I think now.
3 foot
Oh,
10
okay.
spacing in between the row, and then each row is about 5.5 feet apart.
Oh, 3 foot plant spacing?
Yeah.
That
I
seems
found
kind
that
of tight.
it is, but I found that the plants naturally give you more top colas and less side.
Oh.
So I'm after the top colas. The rest of it goes into the bucker, but I just want the choice colas. And so when we had them about 5 feet 3 apart, and I would just get a lot of side. It was a lot more side growth. So now top colas is where it's
So when the
pushed.
plants kind of touch each other, they go up a little
They
more.
push up, and
exactly,
so you
yeah.
get more top colas.
And it seems to get bigger colas, the ones that are at the top of the plant anyway.
Yeah,
So
that's where the
kind of
choice
forces.
comes
And
from.
we found some varieties that have a lot more, instead of having just typically the one main cola, we also have some varieties now that have several different tops, basically. So you get a lot more top colas anyway. So we've kind
Can
of
you share with us what varieties you're growing this year?
We have super sour space candy, Candy Kush, Merlot, Cat's Meow, Bubba's Remedy. We have our own strain we're coming out with this year called Sweet Cherry. We got Cherry Blossom. We got Sour Lifter. We got Super Haze. And we tested out those 4 strains from Oregon are a seedless variety, so they can't be seeded no matter what. And so we're trying out all those
What?
sours.
Haven't heard of that.
Yep.
yeah, a brand new technology breakthrough here. So we'll see what.
So you're saying you're saying if somebody's growing, let's say, grain
Yep.
close to you, and it's going to pollinate, those plants are not going to get seeded, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
the same. It's the same thing they use for seedless watermelon or any other seedless like variety of that been in technology, has been around. I guess I've learned that it was something they spray or use with gout for humans. They spray on the plants, and then it's a generational thing. And how many chromosomes they have, I can't really explain it because I didn't do it myself, but it's very interesting.
Wow.
Well, that could solve a lot of problems for a lot of people as we get bigger and we start growing more fiber and grain in the state.
Absolutely.
And other places. Wow, that's awesome.
That's the other thing I think we should talk about. It's still in its infancy, and no one's really got it all figured out yet. It's like everybody's experimenting with a lot of different things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other reason we grow closer together is actually because we switched all of our strains to the earliest varieties we can find, so we don't have to deal with like the late fall. So our plants are actually smaller than they were the first year, but the bud production is much higher quality.
And that's the highest value you can get out of the crop, right? That
Well, that-
smokable flower.
Yeah.
That's what we discovered, because originally it was going to be just biomass, and they're going to pay us wealthy enough money, so it was going to make a very profitable. Well, that all went to the wayside in the first year, and so all of a sudden and with COVID, we couldn't even go to the expos to sell our products, so we had to develop an online presence, and then decided, okay, we're going to go. We'll just retail. We'll take all the middlemen out, and we'll just go for whatever is the highest profit. It would be to take it all the way to the retail market. So that's where we kind of went into developing, high-end smokable flower, even for the hemp. And so we've got, we developed a nice line, and it just keeps improving every year, the quality of the bud and the terpenes and the whole, everything that makes for a really nice, powerful smelling and effective flower.
It's a lot of pheno honey.
Be interesting if you could kind of cross pollinate with some of your other fruit trees to see what kind of results you would get. You know, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
I don't think they'd be very receptive, but we should know because there's an apple orchard that's fairly, within 100 yards of us at least, or 50 yards probably of that. So they should be getting pollinated apples. We haven't seen any crosses that give us any CBD infused apples. We don't have any.
Wouldn't that be cool? We bite into an apple and it's got CBD in it, right? You know?
Well, I want to try the sweet cherry when you get that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a good.
Blaine's signing up for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cherries too, right? So.
So, how has have the neighbors been receptive, and you've been?
Yeah, we're in between two brothers, two farming brothers, and they're pretty funny, a funny pair, and they come over and they've learned a lot too. One of the sons is into cannabis himself, so it's been pretty nice. At least our section of the neighborhood.
We have a lot of people that comment about they roll their windows down when they come by the farm, though. That was the
first right time.
Something about that smell, boy. It really carries, right?
So. The first year, people would stop on the road and take pictures of the hanging plants and stuff, but now everybody's kind of gotten used to it.
I'm just sort of curious. Since hemp and cannabis essentially look alike, and we can tell the difference, but I mean, a lot of folks can't. Do you have any people sneaking into your fields trying to steal some of the plants or anything?
We haven't. We live on a really busy road actually for the area, but the neighborhood, it's pretty trustworthy crowd around here. Everybody's kind of out to help each other, and we don't have any of that.
Okay, that's good.
Our thing is fenced in, but for the deer, not for the people. Because
the deer love that
they
stuff.
They could clip it and walk through the fence anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference about keeping people out.
I was definitely worried about that the first year, but I think by now I'm
Where you find the best market for your flower? Is it dispensaries?
So we actually as far as customers, Michigan's still our best market, and it's just individual customers, and then a lot of dispensaries, or a couple of dispensaries down south, they buy more in bulk, and then I have some friends in Alaska that have spots up there that we sent to.
In Ohio,
yeah,
we've been in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, different dispensaries,
California,
Well, we've sold about, I think we're over 30 different states that we sell to on the website. And the nice thing about the website is that if you have a satisfied customer and they keep coming back to you, then you got a steady stream there. And then the website naturally is always reaching out to, the more people that hit your site, the more popular you are, and you go up the list. And so you just have more people trying it for the first time. And as long as they're satisfied, it keeps growing. So it's kind of a natural.
Kind of popular in Lakeland, Florida too, because people I think get the name confused. We have quite a few customers in Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah, they type in Lakeland Hemp if they're looking for hemp. Well, it comes right to our pot if they're thinking.
Nice.
There's some very low.
So and your sales, I mean, obviously using some kind of credit card, that kind of thing. You found that
Square helps us with all the. We didn't have to worry about anything. Square handles all the the commerce on the web, so that works out very well. We have a record of all the people that buy as well, so that everything kind of ties itself together. You don't have to do a whole lot of bookkeeping to keep track of who and where people are that are buying anyway.
Okay, that's good. So Square's worked pretty good with you then, obviously.
Yeah,
great.
Very good. Excellent.
Your testing this year, how did that go? Pretty good. Then obviously everything passed. Okay.
They came out. We had the same tester, so we're starting to develop a good relationship with him, and it came out, and all the tests passed.
I think the highest we had was a 0.18. I think, 0.18. Wow. So about half of even what the line is for THC. So
Congratulations!
So all the varieties are ready to roll again this year. So we got about probably about a sixth of it harvest so far is hanging in the barn. So.
And they did mention that if you test like the same strains year after year, that they're going to put it in the program where they won't test it anymore if it's the same one, so you don't have to keep paying for the strain eventually. So
Oh, and that'll save them on
Yeah.
costs too.
Yeah,
Well, that's
especially we
great.
do a
I
lot of
thought that was pretty cool.
we do a lot of cloning besides.
Yeah,
so you got
we
it's
generally
the
just
same.
clone the
You got the
exact same plant.
genetics.
So I know the date when everything finishes. I know the exact,
Yeah, that's been another plus is that the first year we got in, we had the wife and cherry wine and I think a cherry blossom to start with, and they all were very late bloomers. So they everything was first week or second week of October before we started, and we went right into November. We were still harvesting in November.
Snow.
But yeah, we had snow on our last probably 1,000 plants almost that we put in. And so the next year we planted a strain that had all kinds of different, it had like 13 different phenotypes, and some of them were early. And so we said, well, oh shoot, we're going to keep this.
Those were the best buds, but the early ones.
Yeah. So we said, well, okay, let's keep this one. And so we cloned that one. And then as we went along, we kept finding varieties that were early varieties that were just phenotypes that were a little off. Every year we test a whole bunch of our stuff early enough so that we can clone them. Yeah. And then we go back through, and when they bud, we look and say, whoa, this turned out to be a really nice, it's a nice plant, nice bud. It's early. Boom. That's our mother. So then we take that phenotype as our mother for the next year. So that's why every year we incrementally get better with the quality of the bud and the earlier varieties so that they can finish off in nice weather.
So with your 7,000 plants, are you going through and just taking the tops right now?
No, we do a full plant hang. I like the nice slow dry for the good terpenes. And then I'll chop the tops and then put the bottoms through the bucker, and that will go to biomass. The tops will then get processed into bud, basically.
Should we talk about your bucker now?
We even have a video, I believe, right?
So, you got time?
I thought maybe I'll tell you what. Why don't we do the news first, and then why don't we come back to the bucker?
Yeah, it'll fit in perfect.
Yeah, let's do that. So, Mike, you got some news to share with us.
Oh boy, yeah, lots of it. Starting off with a guy that's going to also impact the hemp community, because if it's smokable hemp or that sort of thing, then you're under the Cannabis Regulatory Agency. But we got a new guy at the top. His name is Brian Hanna, and he comes from a very strong police law enforcement background. He officially took over the job on September 19th. He's the interim replacement for Andrew Brisboe, and we're all speculating on what was behind that, but I won't go into that right now. But Andrew got shifted over to be the director of construction codes, and it's a lateral move. They have a national search on now for the replacement for Andrew, and in this case, replacement for Brian Hanna. He may or may not be the one that they pick at the end. I don't know. It's all politics. The governor decides that. But it was a big surprise. That announcement was made in mid-August, and no one saw that one coming. And so, because Andrew is very popular, he's also the head of the national organization for cannabis administration executives. So that was a big surprise. Only the governor knows why that happened, and she's not talking about it. Also, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening right now with the flower, and the latest numbers that came out is we did in August on the adult use side a record $189.4 million in adult use sales, but there was also another 20 or so million, 25 million in medical sales, so we were over the 200 million mark for August. But the thing that's quite concerning to everyone is the all-time low price of $116.84 an ounce. That's black market levels now. And so, as we were saying, and what we discussed on my show, 420 Post, is, a lot of these business plans are counting on $4,000 a pound cannabis, and now you're lucky to get $1,500. And a lot of those companies are heavily leveraged. It was very, very expensive to get into this industry, and they didn't have the cash, so they had to borrow the money. And it's like the double whammy. Their prices are falling, and their overheads going up. And Croptober now, in just a couple more weeks here, is going to be a real moment that's, I think, going to call a lot of people out of the industry. A lot of if you aren't vertically integrated, you're going to be in real trouble. If you're a dispensary that just buys other folks' products and sells them, I don't know. So, and of course, in the end, the big guys will probably survive because they have a lot of money. It's those middle players that have 5 or 6 dispensaries that may be challenged to stay open. And the other theory is that there's a lot of boutique cannabis growers out there that maybe only have 1 or 2 shops and they grow their own stuff. We have a couple here in Ann Arbor. And so it'd be kind of shape up like the beer industry is shaped up over the years. If you go to Grand Rapids, there's boutique breweries everywhere, and that's big, small. It's a small but very loyal audience versus the Budweisers and the Paps and all that, which is your big homogenized kind of beers. That's we don't know if that's what's going to happen, but there's a lot of speculation that may be how this thing is going to shape up over the next, say, 6 months or so. But we'll find out. By the end of the year, I think there'll be a lot fewer players than there are now. But one of the good things on the Washington front, although we don't see a lot of good things coming out of Washington typically, is that the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is talking about during the lame duck session of Congress, which happens right after the elections, of really pushing through uh, marijuana banking bill. That's the big thing. We were talking about that earlier. A lot of the big banks won't touch marijuana because they're federally licensed and it's not legal federally, and they're afraid they'll lose their licenses. So there's a lot of small banks like Dart Bank, for instance. I know you guys deal with them. Bank Michigan's another, and there's a lot of credit unions that are playing in this space. But if the banking bills goes through, that'll change everything, and then the big banks can come in, and you won't have to shop so hard for some place to be able to process your cash and whatnot. And then the other thing is like MasterCard and Visa won't touch cannabis. And so there's another issue. Everybody has credit cards these days, don't like to pay with cash. But in the case of cannabis, a lot of times that's the only thing you can do is pay with cash. So there's a lot of changes afoot. And we'll try to stay on that. My show is 420 Posts. I'll do a shameless plug. We're on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock on Facebook. And yesterday we talked about the other issue I should mention is there was a hearing here at CRA had a hearing a week ago about whether to limit cultivator licenses. Right now, there's more than 650 issued in the state. That's a lot of growing. There's something like 2 million plants being grown in the state legally right now. And while it's true that the demand is going up, it's just the supply is so vast that you got basic economics at work. Supply and demand, you got too much supply, the prices fall. So that's great for consumers, not so great for the industry. But anyway, so we had a cultivator on the show, talked about, it was a smaller cultivator, and he was in favor of limiting the licenses because some of the bigger players, very large companies, will stack licenses and have 20, 30, 40 cultivator licenses. And so they're, of course, don't want to see a limit on it, but the smaller players do. So we talked about that on the show. And then we also talked about the change at the top at CRA and speculated on what might be behind that. But I don't want to get Governor Whitner mad at me, so I won't go into all those details that we discussed. But certainly watch the show if you get a chance. You can find it at mimarijuanareport.com. And that's it. I'm good now.
Yeah, I noticed, Mike, on the CRA and the number of licenses. I saw something on social media where the CRA had put out a post saying, "Hey, do you know that you don't have to be a resident of Michigan to get a license to grow?" And that's like, oh, hey, great.
That's what we need, right? More outstate food, because there's a lot of talk about. There seems to be a lot of illegal product moved into the state, even from our brothers over in Canada, coming over the Ambassador Bridge. But there's a lot of states like Oregon, Colorado, California that are stuck with a lot of supply, and somehow that stuff's making it into the state, and it's not going into metric. Metric is how the state keeps track of everything. It's essentially a black market moving into Michigan because they can't sell it in their own states, and there's a lot of stuff to get sorted out here. And bear in mind now, we've only been legal for adult use cannabis since December of 2019. So just like the hemp industry went legal with the Farm Bill in 2018, the cannabis side is still sorting through all this stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Of course, there are states that have been involved heavily in it for 8 or 10 years, but we're still kind of figuring out all this stuff right now, and I think it's going to take a couple more years before we get that under control.
A lot to work through.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that with Director Bisbo, heading over to the construction side, that we'll be able to have a conversation and talk about, how to bring in the hempcrete, hemp wood, all that kind of stuff into the building industry. So looking forward to that. I'm sure he'll be
he's
open
certainly
to that.
very knowledgeable in that area. So yeah.
So we're looking forward to that for sure. So, well, that's great. Well, thanks,
Right.
Mike.
Yeah, when you said, "Do I have any news?" I go, "Oh boy, got a lot of it."
Yeah.
So,
How do you cut it down, right?
Right. Yeah.
Even going around the state. Yeah. Well, I've got a little news to share on the hemp side today. I've been trying to do the math, and I can't make the math work out. But there's an article that came out. But USDA grants $21 million for hemp as a climate smart commodity. So earlier this year, USDA came out with this climate smart commodity, and people were able to put in their grants or requests for proposals, and 2 got approved under the hemp side. So Iconoclast, if I'm saying that correctly, Industries LLC will receive up to $15 million for the project titled Industrial Hemp for Fiber and Grain, spanning the states of Florida, New York, Tennessee, Virginia, and Wisconsin. The project aims to expand climate-smart commodities and remedy lack of available data on environmentally beneficial practices for hemp production by providing open, accessible data and training and enabling modernization of climate-smart practices through a pilot designation in a digital marketplace. And there's a whole list of people that are involved in that project as well, others there. So that's $15 million. And then a project led by Lincoln University, scaling up the industrial hemp supply chain as carbon negative feedstock for fuel and fiber. Will receive up to $5 million to take place in the states of Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. This project will help commercialize the marketing climate smart hemp crops while driving social carbon sequestration and climate resilience. So, but if you add up 15 and you add up 5, that's 20. I'm not sure where the other 1 million is going. It doesn't talk about it in the article. So maybe that's a little slush fund. I don't know where that's going, but that's just kind of what's going on there. So congratulations to those. I know a lot of people had put in for the grant, as well as myself. I put in with some other people for the grant. So good for them, and good for, I think, hemp in general to be able to be using as a smart climate commodity. And we'll look forward to the results that come from that. Let's see what else I got here. Amanda and Philip Montgomery of Hemp Farm, they're having a grand opening and high fiber, hemp, grain, and cannabinoid symposium. And that's going to be kind of close up here. It is this Saturday, the 24th at 11 a.m. And if you want to get more information on that, you can go to www.eventbrite.com, grand opening hemp fiber grain, and you can attend that. They asked me to come talk, and unfortunately with my family obligations right now, I could not make that, but I did send them some of my hemp frisbees that they can use as a giveaway and talk about that. So if you're in that area, Illinois, it'd be a great event to go to. They're great people. I know Phil's been going around to a lot of the different farm markets and other things in other states and been marketing his products through there too. So, and the other one coming up too is the Illinois Hemp Growers Association presents their second annual disc golf tournament. I went to that last year. What a blast it was. I'm not a good disc golfer by any means. My disc golf is as bad as my regular golf, I can tell you that. But but a great time with them at the Chapel Hill Golf Course. Actually, we went and spent the night there. So it's like a bed and breakfast there. So it's kind of cool. You can stay there and do that. But it's Saturday, October the 8th from 10 until 3 p.m. It's $5 per person. It's open to the public. And a great time. Rachel always puts on a great event down there. So if you're a disc golf fan, it is a really nice course, and it'd be a great day to spend down there. It was beautiful last year on that day that we went down there. So that's some things that are happening there. And then NOCO has talked about their next event they're going to have, which is going to be March 29th and 31st, 2023. It's going to be at the Broadmoor, Colorado Springs is where it's going to be. So we'll be able to put out more information on that, but that's going to be very, very fun to attend that, and always a great show they put on there. So that's going to be, again, March 29th and the 31st, to 2023 at the Broadmoor. So
That's a real classic old world hotel. My grandmother was from Colorado Springs, so I'm real familiar with it.
So I'm going to try to plan on attending that one this next year. I wasn't able to do a lot of traveling, but hopefully we'll be able to.
I'm going to have to be there. My mom lives there.
All right. Well, Dave, maybe we'll have to make a road trip, huh?
You guys could like rent a motorbike and ride together out there. It'd be great, right?
Well, maybe a motor.
I'll go pick up that hemp guitar.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hemp guitar.
And I want everybody to remember that we talked a little bit about with Eric and Dennis about testing and where their product tested out. But grain and fiber hemp exemption, we're trying to get that through. So if you haven't already, get online, sign up to support that. That's raising it to 0.1%. And also it's exempting hemp if you're growing it for grain or fiber from being tested at all. So
you mean 1%, not 0.1%, right?
No, I'm sorry. Thank you, Dave, for correcting me on that. Yep, 1%. So, and just a lot of other things that are going on. The animal feed, that's still being worked on. So we're supporting there where we can, and so a lot of great things are happening. Look for we're going to try to have some sessions this coming fall, winter kind of thing with hemp building material. So look forward for those coming out from iHemp. We're going to have those coming out real soon. So, and we'll have a great, just a little teaser here. It is fall, so we're going to have a great recipe that's going to warm you up and be a yummy treat. So that's what we're going to have in a few minutes. But let's get back to our guests and let's talk about their great, their first place award that they won for product innovation with a hemp bucking machine. So take it away, guys.
Yeah, we've got to go ahead and there we go. Hit the play, and we'll talk about it. Eric, this is my son's creation and with a friend of his. And so
like I said before, I chopped the top of the flower, and then I ended up with all these plants that I had a handbuck. So I pretty much was hating that. So I had to figure out a way to make it better. And
everybody hates that.
Sitting around with my buddy, we came up with this invention, and basically it's a brush that it's very, very simple. It's a brush that you tap the plant on when it's dry, and it strips the plant of the bud, goes into the conveyor belt, and goes up into a super sack holder. The super sack holder is fully mobile, but first we'll go through this. And about 2,500 to 3,000 plants a day I get done. It's pretty fun, really, to be honest with you. And you see it stripping the plant there. It goes down almost like a hopper that goes up into the conveyor belt.
So when I see you don't have to worry about OSHA, you put your arm in it and it didn't hurt you.
Yeah,
so.
I was coming up on the safety mechanisms there. There's because I was worried about somebody getting caught in there or clothing get caught in there. You still should wear glasses.
Yeah, stuff flying.
Now, can you use the stems for anything or not?
I actually give the stems to go to Blaine for his system.
Mm-hmm. And we make the hemp herd out of it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So the whole plant gets harvested. I don't know if it just stopped.
Yeah, it stopped.
Yeah.
No, they showed where you stuck your hand in.
Oh, they showed it. I'm sorry. But yeah, you can stick your hand. I got a variable frequency motor control box there, and so if you get your hand stuck in the brush, it shuts down so you don't get hurt.
Notice
Yeah.
even
So I'll be contacting you guys soon. If you got a pile, you must be working on another pile up there. I take it probably.
Yeah. Well, we haven't. Yeah, it hasn't dried yet.
No. We're still in the drying.
Yeah, we hang everything for 2 to 3 weeks to slow cure it to make our
Now, do you find any loss in CBD and terpenes?
You know, we haven't. And I thought it would beat it up pretty bad, but we honestly, I in my opinion, there's less stems. When you hand bucket, it ends up having some stems break off. When you do this, I don't find any stems in my biomass at all, hardly at all. And so it actually beats the product less than squeezing your hand through and smashing the bud.
Now is the Bucker also 10% discount to the end of September too, or?
Sure. Actually, it's not. It's our website guy is still loading it up
we're
on the internet. So
Okay.
not available on the
It's-
website at the moment.
Okay, yeah.
No, the point for you though, Mike, is we checked it out. We froze some plants because we're dealing with some people that want to do
fresh frozen.
Yeah, fresh frozen, totally non-solvent oil. Our
Solvent free.
solvent free.
Extraction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's and so we tried it with frozen. So we froze some plants to check through it. Oh,
It does a
beautiful.
wonderful
Yeah,
job.
it did a
So I got a
job.
new video for fresh frozen coming out soon.
Yeah. So
Yeah, We'll have to get you on my show. Maybe the cannabis folks would be interested in that, right?
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
That's the get high folks, just to separate from the hemp
Yeah.
folks. You know, so.
The dark side.
Yeah, right.
Solvent free or the full terpenes is the idea behind that. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Oh, it's a cost saver, I tell you. You
Yeah.
notice that one guy can do the whole thing. You can he showed him running the conveyor into the machine and
Just pay a minimum wage because he's your son, right? So
yeah, exactly. And there's no wages. That
there
works
you
out.
go. All right, cool.
That's how we turn a profit.
But
you
he
know?
can do I swear it's about 12 people you'd have to hire to do what you can do with just one.
Yeah, it
one-
looks very efficient.
yeah. So you are saving yourself a lot of money in the end. But yeah, in the product, surprising. I mean, our tests were really the test of our biomass that we ran through that was really high. It was very it was the ratio of it to the to the content CBD content in the bud was better than we got before when we were hand doing it. So somehow
Wow.
I was really surprised. I
Yeah.
thought it would obliterate the bud at first, but it doesn't. It actually strips and leaves them intact. And
Yeah, it's
great
really
thing is no stems.
and it's really a pretty product when you're done. Yeah, you have very rarely do you to break off a branch. So.
Now, is that your prototype, or do you have others that you can sell? Where's that stand?
That is the first prototype. So we'd have a few changes, but basically on deck. If anybody wants to order, we're able to put them together.
I got to ask this question because I'm a reporter. What sort of price are you putting on that?
So the Bucker standalone by itself without the conveyor is $16,500, and then the whole system together we got it $21,500.
Wow, but it's a real labor-saving device, though, right?
It
So
is.
that's where you save your dough, right?
Yeah.
We
Big
saved
time.
money
Mhm.
in the first year. Probably saved all the money on the bucking with the Bucker.
Yeah, that's pretty good ROI there, So
No, it works out really nice. And like I said, with the that solvent free, it looks like it'll be a really nice process for there. We've got a couple of we're looking at maybe doing. People are looking at us wants a solvent free product. We've been working with a couple of different processors that are running trying to develop a nice solvent free line. So if people are interested, they might contact our Lakeland Hemp as well. It's probably won't be, something that they'll be doing probably still a couple months away, maybe. But
yeah, because are you making those yourselves, or do you have a contractor that makes that for you, or what?
the Buckers,
Yeah, right.
No, we make it ourselves. My friend is a machine fabricator.
Okay.
So kind of together, which we shared the vision, and he builds high speed winches.
Oh,
For pulling like skis, and he's done winches for the logging industry, and he also has like a Bunny Hill ski lift that he's releasing this year. So that's what he does, and that's how I got into it basically.
wow.
I feel kind of special because I got to see the first prototype when you guys first used it that
yeah,
one day. So
exactly. Yeah. You saw that.
that's
It's coming
cool.
together.
Yeah, it was very nice.
This is Dave. Oh, Dave's going to show the
Oh yeah,
difference.
here we go. Here's the technique.
Oh, I got to put my glasses on for this. So.
That gets rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to take off. You're taking off pretty much every branch in the thing, and then
Oh,
hand
wow.
through the machine.
Yeah.
There's no way to make that
It
fun.
is painful.
There's
It
no
is
way to make
painful.
that fun.
And tennis elbow comes very shortly after your first day.
Yeah, but and you got to slather it on with that CBD oil of yours, right? So,
Yeah, that's right. Thanks. We might be able to sell a lot more of our lotions and salves and tinctures that way as a
yeah.
product of the pain you get from trying to process the hemp in the end.
Huh.
Yeah, we have a total isolate driven, so it's a total THC product line right now. Plus we have the
Full
next
spectrum.
line that we're talking about is a full spectrum line that has the it's a higher. Our first line's got 2,000 milligrams per bottle in our tincture, for example, and this one's going to have total of 3,500 combinations of the CBD and CBG.
Wow.
CBD and CBN.
We got a daytime and a nighttime formula.
Yeah.
So what, $50 ish, somewhere in that ballpark, or what?
Yeah, we're at 55. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like I said, you definitely notice when you get to 3,500 milligrams, and when the combinations of the CBD and CBN,
It's nighttime at that
you
point.
notice,
So,
notice.
Yeah.
So Dave could take that with his afternoon nap and sleep the whole afternoon away, right? You know.
Might have a little longer sleep than he was planning.
I noticed that I was muted when I was showing that video. That was my wrong way to do it. I was
Oh,
telling everybody the wrong way.
It's the way we all did it.
It's
It's the way we all did it.
Well, it's a great comparison between the two, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what else have you experienced, I guess, in this whole thing? What's some of the highlights of the
Practices
do's
is
and the
called.
don'ts?
What have you done really badly that you figured out you did
Yeah.
badly and now you fixed it?
Not having a market.
Yeah,
Not having a market.
that was harsh because the first year we even thought we had a market, but the price of the CBD dropped, so the biomass dropped so tremendously. He said, no, if I go out, I can either go bankrupt and end it right now, or I can buy your stuff and then go bankrupt farther in the hole after I buy it with the agreement. So
Pay me
it was
now or pay me
thought
later.
we had something and it wasn't there, and so then it was just and then with like I said, with the COVID, it was just a nightmare to start with, and we had all this product, and so we adapted quickly. But we decided that the only way to go was to be integrated from ground zero all the way to the retail market, and then you have
Now you're a vertical operation.
exactly.
So,
Vertically
which is going to help you survive the big shakeout as it comes, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I think, and there's been a big shakeup. We went from
Oh, yeah.
700 some that first year of growers to I think 76 growers this year. I think someone told me I think the guy that did the sampling told me there were 76 growers left this year. So yeah, it was a huge shakeout, and it was a matter of surviving. Luckily, we didn't take big loans out to get into the business, or it would have been
that's where you
a
get
harsh
hurt.
reality when you're talking about the marijuana business. There's a lot of folks that it's
Either
expensive.
make payroll, pay utilities, or pay your note. That's that's not a good situation to be in, right?
Exactly.
So do you feel you guys are turning a profit now, or not yet?
We are turning a profit, and like I said, we've been growing by I'd say probably better than 50% each year that we've been in it, just because of the way that the online works is that you as long as you can hold your old customers, and we're reaching out to new ones all the time, then it just is a natural build up. So we're hoping if it continues that it'll actually end up being a pretty prosperous business in the next year or two. So
Okay.
Would
So
you
it's awesome.
would you encourage other farmers to take a serious look at this? I mean, if you could provide them with some of these best practices coaching kind of tips.
well,
I would
it's
encourage them to
harsh.
have a
Yeah.
plan from
Yeah.
start to
Yeah.
finish. The plan is the key.
And it's still a lot of work, and there's still a lot of things to jump through. I mean, you hold your breath because you spend all your money. You hold your breath every year when they come in to do your test, because all of a sudden your crop, all the money you spent the whole year.
Right. That's the other thing people should know. If it goes hot, you're really in a
You're
bad
done. So it's
situation,
like,
right?
oh, boy,
Yeah.
that's a terrible feeling for that week of wait before you get your number, get the actual tests in there each year. But and sometimes, and you're buying, we've been buying seed. We got the seedless varieties there. So we got the seedless last year for the sours. So even though we do mostly clones, or we're doing our own plants year after year. So we're pretty sure those guys are going to make it easily.
Right.
You keep introducing these new, the seeds, and you're going, oh, let's hope we spend a lot of money on this. So let's hope that
Absolutely.
So
I have heard of one fiber variety that's gone hot this year. I don't know what the variety was. I just heard of one testing on variety.
I cannot understand that. That just seems very strange, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the circumstances or story behind it. Just heard they went hot this year. So
Yeah,
No, I know-
it's pointless.
I know there was.
too.
Oh, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
No, I was just making it's pointless. Who cares? I mean,
Yeah.
what does it matter?
I don't.
Yeah.
If you're putting it in a hempcrete, what does it matter? You're going to smoke
Yeah,
it,
right.
right? You know. So.
right.
Doing
Exactly.
the stock. Yeah, it's an interesting process for sure. And 0.3 is such a minuscule amount.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. There's been a lot of talk about raising it to 1%, and I don't know where that stands. I haven't been tracking it. Dave or Blaine, do you know where that stands?
Currently, it's been talked about and I believe it's in some legislation, but I don't believe it's been acted on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Would that help you guys a lot? It went up to 1%.
I can't imagine getting hot if it was 1%, because most strains fall easily into that range for sure.
Mhm.
Well, I remember that when they talked about the testing here in the state, that if we went to the 0.1, that 99% of the tests that were done would not have been hot.
Well,
Yeah.
big
I-
difference. And
yeah,
you're
so I
talking
think
serious
one-
money. I mean,
Well,
an
exactly.
acre of hemp. I mean, ballpark figure. What do you think you got invested in an acre of hemp? $20,000-$30,000?
I think when we figured it, I did a presentation one time and had all those numbers, but I think it fell right around 22,000 maybe an acre for what we had into that first year for the amount of money we had in. But that was, we put in after that, because we put in total irrigation system. We did the whole fence
Oh,
the area, and that counted, the stuff that we need to process our trimmer, and so it was a pretty good expense the first year. But after that, you wipe out almost all of that except for the price of if you're buying the seeds, or you still have to put in. We put a new drip line in, and
Still gotta get fertilizer.
And fertilizer.
Is it just the two of you that do all the labor, or do you bring in some folks to help you?
We do it. We have one guy that helped us for most of the year, but basically it's us. Yeah, it's the two of us.
Wow,
just the two of us.
A lot of work.
There's a song there somewhere, but yeah.
Well, we got to give Barbara a little credit too. I think Barbara's probably.
Can you get Barbara out there helping you? Does she help you?
She handles all the websites, all the communication with the customers.
She deals with the website, and she's our
communicator.
she's the communicator for sure.
Yeah. We worked with her last year. On our holiday gift guide, we were moving some of your CBD products. So
it's like Blaine without Becky. There's a heck of a lot of work going in the background.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thanks a lot. We appreciate you again taking your time out of your busy schedule with everything going on you got. But and you've got the 10% special going on right now. So you go to www.lakelandhemp.com, the website, and be able to order your products there.
And we wish you continued success. Really appreciate you guys.
Yep. Summer's
you are one of the bright spots in the state. I'll say that much. That's for sure. In the industry.
We've scratched our head quite a few times wondering what Dick's direction was going to be here to make sure this was going to be a profitable business. But so far we've stuck it out. And probably a lot of people have gotten out of the business. There's not a whole lot of people that are selling the hemp flower. There's still a lot of people that do the lotions and salves and tinctures, because you can just buy the oil and make your own, or there's a lot of white label that goes on also, but then you've got one more layer that you have to pay for before you get through the process. And so being integrated from the flower all the way to the top. We also sell some of our clones, which is another money maker for us as well. So we're into each area as you go along. We sell isolate, we sell keef, we have rosin. We have a little it's a one-stop shop when you get on our site. We have a lot of things we sell in small amounts of biomass, which a lot of people don't sell. And there's surprisingly quite a few people that actually make their own oils. They make their own oils, and so they buy 4 pounds of our biomass, and they make their own.
One lady gives it to her horses.
Yeah, I mean, there's another. We have 2 different veterinarian people that actually deal with it for their own, for their own work. But yeah, so one-stop shop and integrated from seed to
farm to table.
Yeah, exactly, from farm to table.
Okay.
All right, so we need to visit lakelandhemp.com and use the discount code Summers End 10 to save 10%. Very good.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And can people stop by and visit you guys in person and do that, or do
you give tours?
We have our township doesn't allow us to have a storefront, unfortunately. So we do.
Looks like the boss just came in behind you too. So
yeah.
Okay.
But anytime you want to call and come by and see the operation, we are more than happy to show you what we've got.
Okay.
There it is. There's the 3 of them. That's a great picture.
Yeah, there's a good picture.
I was gone for a week, and they had no groceries.
They had
and they were just microwaving everything, right?
The third leg of the stool right there.
I got ice cream.
Those beans heat up real good, right? So
yeah.
All right, well, speaking of food, it's time for a recipe. So stick around, guys.
Stick around and watch.
What a segue into that, huh? Wow, we don't get that one that often, do we? All right. Well, it's time for the fun part of the show here. We're going to do this week's recipe.
Producer Jim, do you have the recipe?
The CPs.
I believe he does. If not, I've got it queued up here.
All right.
This is a live show, so.
That's right. That's right. You got it queued up, Dave? All right, you ready? Okay. So this week is happy fall, autumn coming here. Started today. So getting into that. So we have a sweet potato soup with red lentils and hemp hearts.
Ooh.
It's a creamy blend of sweet potatoes with red lentils with the nutrition of hemp hearts. And we all know how good hemp hearts are. And if you can't find out where to get those, downonthefarm.biz, we have them listed on there. So this makes about 8 servings. It's ready in about 45 minutes. There's about 272 calories per serving, and it's just great for any time. This is done by Simple Green. We like to give credit where credit's due. So Simple Green, this is a recipe from them. This soup blend has a slightly sweetness to it, rounded out with notes of garlic, ginger, and optional cider vinegar. Makes a great side or full meal for those chilly days that we know are coming. The ingredients is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 medium sweet potatoes peeled and diced, 1 small white onion chopped, 2 cloves of garlic minced, 1 tablespoon fresh ginger root and minced, a half a tablespoon of ground turmeric, 1 cup split red lentils rinsed, 1.135 ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I imagine you can alter that if you need to. 5 cups of water, a third of a cup of hemp hearts. I would go a little heavier myself, but 1 cup full fat coconut milk, salt and pepper to taste, 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar, and that's an optional if you want that. So you put a large pot, you heat up the olive oil and add the diced garlic, onions, ginger, and cook slightly browned and fragrant, about 5 minutes for that. Add the sweet potatoes, the turmeric, the crushed tomatoes, the red lentils, and stir to combine it all. Add in the water and stir to combine. Bring the soup to a boil and reduce the heat and let it simmer for 25 to 30 minutes or until the sweet potatoes are easily pierced with a fork and lentils are fully cooked. And then you go. And
sweet potatoes take a little while to cook.
Yeah, they do.
They're kind of a dense.
Is there some place online where people can buy hemp hearts plain?
I think there's one good spot called downonthefarm.biz, and I think you can order hemp hearts in a 12-ounce or a 24-ounce bag of those. Absolutely.
Wow, what a value. And it's probably very inexpensive as well, right?
They are. Yeah, they certainly are. And they're good for you as well. So, all right. So that is our, oops.
Somebody's alarm's going off.
Yes, it is. That's my other job I got to go do. So So yeah, so that's again autumn's here, and this would be a great side dish to have any time of the day for sure, lunch or dinner. And it's a great yummy little soup to make up. So all right. Well, thanks guys for being on the show today. Thanks Dave and Mike for being on and being a good co-host. And Mike, enjoy that game coming up.
That's it. Yeah. 4 home games in a row. Go figure, huh? Yeah.
Oh, wow. So your Saturdays are booked for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I'm missing all the. There's a whole bunch of cannabis events last weekend and priorities, So
You don't know. You got to say go green.
I
was going to get to that point. I just waiting for my opportunity to get it in there.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm really more of a basketball guy than football guy, so I'm waiting for that to start too. So.
I'm excited. Excited the hockey season starts next week.
Oh yeah, everybody's got their own thing,
So what's your prediction for the Red Wings this year, Dave?
I don't have one. It's going to be good. There's so much parity in the league.
Are they going to make the playoffs?
I think there's a good chance that they make the playoffs this year with Stevie Y at the helm. We've got some young guns coming in, lots of new energy, new coach. I like his attitude, like his system. I'm optimistic.
Are you going to be working out with them and teach those kids some tricks or anything like that? Or
oh man, yeah. No, I got schooled yesterday by we won't go down that road, but it's a 60-year-old guy from Toronto. The levels of play are just incredible, and there's some real skill out there in the world. It's not here.
All right, guys. Well, thanks. Everybody have a good week, and we'll see you on the next show.
Keep your head up and stick on the ice.